I am here with two filmmakers, and their names are.
Connie Baxter Marlow.
And Andrew Cameron Bailey.
And what's the name of your film?
It's called Seeds of Freedom, A Vision for America.
And could you give us a synopsis of this film?
Well, I'll give a little synopsis, and that is that what we're bringing is a new perspective on the syntheses that occurred between the European colonists and the American Indian in the birth of the American mind and spirit and democracy. There was two great syntheses in the past, 50 years of peace and friendship between the Mayflower Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Indians. And that was a time of synthesis that we feel gave birth to this American mind and spirit. And then the second great synthesis was when the great law of the Iroquois came into the Constitution. So now we're calling for a third great synthesis, which means coming together in our hearts now with the European people and the indigenous peoples coming together and bringing something new to the planet that we don't know what it is yet, but something new. A synthesis is something new coming out of things coming together. And we understand from native prophecy that something's coming on this planet that's never been here before, because all the colors of man are going to come together and bring something new by coming together in our hearts. So that's what our message is.
Yeah, that's a pretty good message. So why now?
Why now?
Because there's only now, it's all we've got. We have the whole of history that we can learn from, but all we really have is this moment, this breath, this moment right now. And it's a critical moment in history. It's time for us to find each other, to get over the separation and the fear and the crazy separations that we've constructed. And a lot of our work has to do with the wisdom of the indigenous people that has been lost to a great degree through recent history. It's time for us to remember who we are and how just to become inclusive, not exclusive, not I'm better than you or you're better than me, but we are ourselves. We each have our piece of the puzzle to bring to the future.
And because of the World Wide Web, we're now connected, the human race is now connected at a level we've never been connected before. The indigenous peoples in the past were connected to different members of their tribe and close by tribes through telepathy and through intuition and through a connectedness to the unseen forces of the universe. And now with the World Wide Web, that's been expanded to the whole of the human race.
To the whole of the planet, in fact.
To the whole of the planet. Mm-hmm. And that's never happened before, that the whole human race, that we care about each other. When something happens all around the globe, we care. You know, we feel it. And that's just opening our hearts to each other. It looks like right now it's going the other direction, but the darkest hour is always before the dawn. Mm-hmm. And we've got to cleanse those fears out and those separations and those habits and all that habitual thinking to make way for the oneness that is what's real. And the indigenous peoples of the world know that we're interconnected, that we're connected to all of creation.
So when did you think that the feelings with the Native Americans and the Europeans, when did these attitudes change?
Do you mean because there was this 54-year period of freedom and peace and friendship? Yes. At the beginning, there was a true collaboration that fell apart.
Yes.
It fell apart in roughly 1675, and it's just a tragic part of our history. What we're bringing to light is just not to forget that gem at the beginning. There was a time when our people got on, and we can get on. We have some difficult times, difficult things to get over, and a lot of, so we're not really talking about how it fell apart and who did what to whom over historically. We're saying right now, right here in this moment, how can we find each other again? How can we reconnect? How can we cease to be deprived of the beauty and the wisdom and the way that the indigenous people can bring to us? Because it's very much on the pendulum's on one side of the swing right now.
You know, I like what you're doing, because you are showing the world that at one point there was collaboration between the natives and the Europeans, and there was much respect,
That's
and
right.
they shared everything from food, religion, ideologies, and all these. So you're saying that this has been done before, so we can do it again.
And we're beginning to
Exactly.
do it again.
We're
I
beginning to
believe
do
we
it again.
live in a time of the return of respect. You know, if my ancestors and your ancestors somehow fell into conflict and ceased to respect one another, we're beyond that now. Now we're discovering, oh my God, you have something that is precious, that is different from what I have, and I have something that's precious, that's different from what you have. And when we come together, we're just much bigger.
And we
than
feel
separate.
that the earth was in a certain field of fear, a low frequency of fear that had all peoples fighting against each other all through history. I mean, we've all been doing horrible things to each other, and we still are. But that the earth is moving into this higher frequency where it's the opening of the human heart. It's becoming safe for the human heart. It's time now. And with this World Wide Web connecting us all, and the earth being in a different frequency, that it's just lending itself to us opening and coming together. And
So we are talking about getting back to the future, because at one point we understood each other and we worked together, and now since we've done it before, we can do it again.
And in a brand new way that's never been done before, because now we have media of connection. These devices that we now have, extraordinary communication devices, now that we can film something and tonight it's on the internet and someone in Hong Kong or Australia or Kinshasa is receiving this information.
You know, I
Ideas.
really appreciate your input and the ideas that you have, and your goal to show us that we can do this again, we can get back to who we are, and we could just be people.
exactly.
That's right.
And connected to our hearts. This whole process of materialism that has taken over the heart and spirit of humanity, basically, has shown us that that isn't the way, that it isn't satisfying, that it isn't leading us to our hearts and our spirits and to a wonderful place for our children. We're seeing that. It's played out now, that it's not it, and we're ready to move beyond it. And just the fact that we're standing here and that you're feeling and expressing the appreciation for us and what we're doing, and feeling it with your heart, and we're standing here in a heart-centered way together saying, yes, we can go forward, is a sign.
Yeah, because we are links in a chain.
Yeah.
You know, there's that one umbilical cord that runs through all of us.
Yeah, see, the fact that you're expressing that you're not saying, oh,
I've always felt
white
that
men, you're blah, blah, blah. You're saying, yes, we can. You know, you're here, you're there, and you're speaking it to the world through your heart.
So our conclusion here that it can be a peaceful world because we are peaceful people, and the possibilities still exist where we can get back to who we are and appreciate each other at all levels.
Yes.
This is Bill Flores. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill
Thank you.
Flores.